How much money can you make in 4 days from AI trading bots? Well, in today's video, I'm going to put exactly that to the test. I'm going to open up 2 crypto trading bots for $3,000, and we're going to see just how easy or difficult it is to make money. Now, I'm mostly new to the trading bot space, but I'm really keen on experimenting and seeing just how successful some of these strategies can be. There are influencers out there that will tell you that you can make $100 a day, $1,000 a day from trading bots, and that they're essentially a free money glitch. But how true exactly is that? How easy is it to make money using these bots? Well, this is the entire point of this week's experiment. This is the first episode of a new series where I just test new crypto products using real money, using real time. I'm going to experiment with some of the most popular products in the market and see if they actually work. I think this is going to be super valuable for you because you're going to find out what works and what doesn't. We're going to have a lot of fun along the way, and maybe we'll even find some profitable strategies that end up being lucrative over the long term. Today's video, we're going to be focusing on grid bots, and most specifically the OKX grid bot. Everything is going to be done on camera, so you're going to see the entire process from start to finish. So before we invest in these bots and I actually put money into the bots, first I need to explain exactly what grid bots do and how they work. Futures grid trading is an automated strategy that trades futures contracts with present intervals within a specific price range. This strategy will continuously buy low and sell high for each predefined grid, essentially profiting off the volatility of the market. So this basically means it doesn't matter if the price necessarily goes up and down, as long as there's volatility in the market, this presents the opportunity for a grid to make profit. The essence of a futures grid is volatility arbitrage. So the strategy is most suitable when the market is moving sideways or volatile within a specific range. There's long futures grids, which essentially only possess long positions. There's short futures grids, which possess short positions, and then there's neutral futures grids, which present both opportunities on the long and the short side. So they're essentially long and short depending on which way the market's moving. I'm super excited. Smash the like button if you do enjoy this style of content. And remember, if you do want to trade on OKX, there's a link in the description below. And if you use that link, you can get a mystery box valued at up to $10,000. So link in the description to access that mystery box. And if you're trading, make sure to stay safe. Don't risk more than you are willing to lose. Let's get straight into the video. I'm super excited to test these out. So if you go onto the OKX website and you go onto the trade portion of the website, you can click on the trading bot section, which will bring you to a dashboard that essentially enables you to either pick from their pre-built bots or create your own trading bot. I'm going to set up a new bot that we are going to test out throughout the remainder of this week. I'm going to do it on Bitcoin, and I think I'm also going to open up a Solana bot. So first, let's go into the Bitcoin strategy, and I'll explain the logic behind it. So what I'm going to do is come down to the futures grid section. This will enable me to open a Bitcoin bot with leverage. If you click on the spot grid section, then this will enable you to open up a Bitcoin bot just using purely spot, so no margin. So if I click on the futures grid here, you can see you can select from AI strategies and manual strategies. Today I'm going to be making a manual strategy. So now I have to select the price range that I want the bot to execute across. Essentially what grid bots do, as I explained before, is they create a grid of buy and sell zones that enables the bot to automatically take trades based on a predetermined set of criteria. So here what we need to do is define for the bot what is going to be our price range that the grids are going to be structured between. So the reason why I'm doing this strategy on Bitcoin right now is because you can see Bitcoin is chopping sideways. Now, when you're in an environment where the price is chopping sideways, this is ideal for setting up a bot strategy like this one because the price is just going to oscillate and chop in between, hopefully, the buy and sell grids that we enable. So we can see we have the range here at 25,300, which is the lower end of the range. This is on the hourly time frame, and we can see the top end of the range is at 26,900. So I'm going to shoot slightly below either side. So our lower limit is going to be 25,200, which is slightly below this blue zone, and our upper limit is going to be at 27,100, which is slightly above the range high here. So once we've set our range, now we need to set the grid mode and quantity. I'm not going to bother with a geometric strategy today. I'm going to just stick to the arithmetic strategy, which means it's going to equally space the grids apart in a quantity that I pre-select. For the grid quantity, I'm going to go with 12 grids. The reason why I'm going with 12 grids is because if you take the bottom to the top of the range, it's roughly 6.5%. So this is essentially going to spread the 12 grids evenly across the entirety of the range. The more grids you use, the more buy and sell orders that will be taking place, which also means the more risk if Bitcoin happens to shoot crazily to the upside or to the downside. The less grids you use, the less orders that are going to take place. But of course, this means it's going to take longer to play out in between trades. So I think 12 grids is a good amount to give us a profit per grid of about 4.4 to 4.8%, which makes sense. Now I'm going to be using 10x leverage. This will be using an invested margin of $2,000 out of a bankroll of $3,000. $1,000 we're going to allocate for the Solana AI bot that I'm also going to set after the Bitcoin trade. For the advanced settings, I'm going to keep trigger type as instant. Remember, we are setting a neutral bot, which means it's not going to start with a long or a short bias. It's going to start in the neutral position, which means a trade will trigger as soon as it hits our first grid. And we're also going to set a TP price as well above the very top of the highest wick, which is at 28,200, and I'm not going to set a stop loss. You can set a stop loss, but the reason I'm not is because I'm literally going to be monitoring this bot all the time. So if you're not as active, of course, you probably want to set a stop. We are going to create our bot here. You can see here all the settings on the futures and confirm. So our bot has officially been created. You can view the details in front of you here. Let's see how this bot goes over the next few days. I'm very, very intrigued to see how this goes. But I do have one more bot that I want to set up, and this is going to be a Solana bot. So I was looking through the strategies here, and it's really, really cool because not only can you do manual bots, but you can also use their predetermined selection of AI bots. So if we go to perpetuals, then we click on Solana USDT, and we scroll down and click on AI strategy, you can see here that there are a bunch of strategies that have been back tested by OKX. You have this short futures grid, this long futures grid, this neutral futures grid, and they all look super interesting. Solana's an interesting case as well because it's similar to Bitcoin. You have Solana in this range structure. So these are the ranges that the AI bot has predetermined. And yeah, let's chuck $1,000 into this and test this out. Let's do it on, let's say, we can go between 5 and 7x. Let's do 7x leverage, slightly lower than our Bitcoin position. And let's use margin of $1,000 as well. Setting my TP as well at $21.50. Once again, going to monitor, so not setting a stop loss. And we are going to create our position. Really intrigued to see how these bots do. I'm going to come back tomorrow and I'm going to give you an update on what is happening with these bots. These are the two new ones, as you can see. The 4 ones below are the ones that have been testing over the last few days. And I'm going to see you tomorrow and we're going to check in to see how these bots are doing. So I'm back for day 2. Now let's check up on the bot's performance, and we can see here that our Solana bot is actually down 2%, but it's not too bad because we've only lost $21. I want to look into the details here in a second. The Bitcoin bot is actually up $10, so it makes up for roughly half of the losses of the Solana bot, up 0.48%. But the bots that I actually set before recording this show are performing really well, with the WorldCoin bot now up 26.3%, the Curve bot up 7%, and our other bots up for a cumulative $10 in profit as well. So overall, we are actually up, but on the bots yesterday, we are slightly down due to Solana. I want to look at the data from this Solana bot. We can see that we're down 2.16%, but interestingly, what actually happened to the Solana price yesterday was it did dump slightly from our entry at 1950. Since then, the Solana price has dumped, and it hasn't really had any major bounces since. It basically came straight down and hasn't had any bounces. Now, what this means, because these are grid bots, is that essentially we've had a few buy orders taking place. We can see it made a buy at 19.7. It also made 2 other buys, but you can see here, if there's no grid profit, what this means is that the bot has made a buy, but it hasn't found a corresponding sell order to match that transaction with. So it ended up making a trade here, which it was able to match with the sell side. So it bought at 19.4 and then it sold at 19.5. This is where we make profit. Where we lose money is when the price goes down, but it doesn't bounce to the next corresponding grid where the bot would execute a sale. And in that case, we end up assuming a small loss until price recovers and is able to essentially match with the next grid which gives us a sale on the other side and allows us to make profit. So the thing with this bot is I'm still comfortable sitting in it because we're still within the range, and as long as we chop within the range, the odds are is that eventually we do get a bounce, which will enable us to realize some profit. In terms of the Bitcoin bot, we can see that this actually is in profit because Bitcoin has had a couple of bounces on the lower time frames. We can see the main one was this one that we made for $6 profit, where it bought some Bitcoin at 25.99 and sold some Bitcoin for 26.15. So we're currently $10 in total profit on Bitcoin as well, as you can see via the P&L curve here. So not much else to report for today, just explaining a bit of logic, and tomorrow we're going to check back in on the bots and see how we're going. I'm at my desk now. Let's check out how the bots are performing. And wow, okay, so some interesting stuff happening on the Bitcoin bot. I guess let's start there. That's actually minus $2 now, because essentially what's happened on Bitcoin is it's ripped to the upside. We're now starting to get a slight pullback, but because it's pumped to the upside, there are a lot of sell orders which have taken place, which haven't had a time to be filled. So these are essentially shorts, because we are obviously trading in the futures market with this bot that won't be matched with their other grids until we come back down. So Bitcoin does need to pull back here for us to make profit on those grids. If we go into the details section of the Bitcoin bot, you can actually see our grid profit is $17.73. So this is the realized profit on actual trades that have taken place. However, our floating P&L is down $19, meaning we are currently down $19 worth of orders that are currently placed but haven't been matched because Bitcoin hasn't yet corrected. If Bitcoin does start to pull back, then of course these matches will turn from floating P&L into grid profit. So that's quite interesting. Solana has actually ticked into the positive territory. It was slightly down yesterday, and that's due to the fact that Solana pumped. So the opposite happened with our Solana trades. We were DCAing on the way down. We put in a few buy orders at our corresponding grids. The price has pumped. A lot of these sell orders are now starting to get executed, and we are now seeing our Solana grid profit tick into a positive territory of plus $27, and our floating P&L is about the same. We need some of these levels to be hit. As we can see, we have a transaction here on the buy side that needs to be matched with a sell that would only happen when Solana goes up in price, because we have started to have a slight pullback here. Our WorldCoin long is actually up, but due to how the chart looks right now, just given the fact that it's now at the extremity of the range here and looks like it could be on the verge of a breakout, I don't really want to risk it. So I'm actually going to close this bot. I'm going to make the decision to stop the bot and close all of my active positions. Going to confirm that. Let's check in tomorrow to see how our bots are performing in light of a little bit more market volatility. Let's check in with the bots to see how they're going. Looking at Solana, this has ticked into a profit of over 5%. It's now at $51 because, as we said yesterday, we needed Solana to move to the upside to trigger some of our sell orders, and this is exactly what happened. So the grid bots were buying all the way down. As soon as we got that move to the upside, we were able to secure some profit. So that bot is performing extremely well. The Bitcoin bot has ticked over into negative territory, although overall we are still in net profit. The reason the Bitcoin bot is now ticking into negative territory is essentially because there were some sell orders that were executed, but because Bitcoin moved so quickly, the price didn't retrace to give the bot a chance to match some orders on the buy side. But as long as we stay within the range, it's okay. And I guess that's been one of the major learnings from these 4 days. I actually just got home from the gym and I was supposed to get around to recording the conclusion of the video, but I started getting some alerts on my phone that the market actually started to pump quite aggressively. So I'm going to go into the office right now and I want to check up on the Solana bot specifically because that was configured in the long direction. All right, so I'm at my computer now, and as you can see, the Solana bot is now officially in $100 worth of profit. And the reason for this is because we turned our floating P&L into grid profit because the price of Solana actually pumped to the very top of our range high here and then had a slight rejection, which meant a lot of our buy orders were matched with sells as we started to pump in price. The Bitcoin bot is still slightly down, but now overall, including the bots that we already closed, we're around $100 in profit, and it's just been a few days with a relatively small initial investment. So I'll get into all my learnings now in the official conclusion, but it definitely was a nice surprise today to get one of our bots performing so well, and it just shows that as long as price maintains itself within a range, you can actually end up doing quite well off it. In 4 days, including the bots that I opened prior to officially starting the challenge, I made $104, which equates to around $26 per day. If we exclude the bots that I opened before I officially started recording it live, then we made $63 profit in 4 days, which equates to around $16 a day. That is $16 out of a bankroll of $3,000. So percentage-wise, it's quite a small gain. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this challenge went because I learned a couple key things. The first key thing that I learned is that these type of grid bots are most effective during sideways volatile markets. If there's a major dump in the market and then a range starts to form, that would technically be the perfect time to set a grid bot strategy, and you could have invalidation either side of the range. In really volatile, choppy markets, in kind of weird periods, it becomes more difficult to execute grid bot strategies, and that's probably where I would look to maybe go with more of a biased long or a biased short strategy, which can utilize different automation.